Hey, it is Friday, and by now, maybe you don't know, but this is what it's going to mean here going forward. It is episode 2 of Right Off Track, FloRacing's only drag racing podcast, and we are in a special event here. You saw me at my home last week. We've got JT Hudson, a.k.a. Murder T from Drag Illustrated.
This ought to be way off track.
Oh, it's going to be way off track. If you guys know anything about it or have seen the West Buck show, this is going to be something fierce. But we are here at Bradenton Motorsports Park for the World Series of Pro Mod. So much work has gone into this event. We're going to dive into the competition, the prep, what's going on here right now. But first things first, let's address some stuff. We are on it.
Hear a whistle.
Yeah, if you hear a whistle, it's not whistle while you work. It is 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts here. And you guys will be seeing this later, but we are on an indefinite hold here. And so Racing Action has given us time to sit up here and chat about the race. But first things first.
We get to watch all of our beautiful signage that we
just
put
get
up.
trashed.
Blow away, get trashed. We got tents literally flying across the highway.
We're watching it live.
Yeah. I mean, people were hanging off the tents out there. It's pretty awesome.
It's disgusting. But as always, guys, every episode of Right Off Track is brought to you by Castrol Edge. Thank Castrol Edge so much for making this happen. It is 3 times stronger against viscosity breakdown than the leading full-time synthetic and gives your engine 10 times better high-temperature performance than the industry standard. When you need it most. Go ahead and give me that last line, JT.
Better oil for maximum performance.
Castrol Edge, thank you so much. And, I'll teach you a thing or two about getting a sponsored podcast as it goes along.
Right? I need it. Yeah, we used to never have really just hit home runs with any of those.
I love it.
I was just proud of you for getting all the grammar right in that.
Copy and paste, bro. Viscosity. That's a tough word, but we nailed it. So let's talk about you first. If you guys don't know JT, you will. He is a party animal. He is a personality hire of all hires. What do you do for Drag Illustrated?
Drink beer is what most people think.
Yeah, fair.
No, really. Just about anything. I think we pride ourselves on our team that anybody can really do anything. Like if the trash needs to be taken out, we take the trash out. But the next guy can pick up the next guy's job for the most part. I mean, they don't let me ride or nothing like that. But graphic design or sales or whatever, everybody does a little bit of everything.
Last night we had a Strange Engineering sponsored party for them. I know that when it comes to fun things, you're kind of the lead at Drag Illustrated. Talk about the party last night.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. We had I don't know how many pizzas we went through, but
2 or 3 orders worth.
And about 2,500 beers. And I think it got pretty crazy a little later, maybe. I heard they were bobbing for beers.
J.R. Gray.
Yeah, it was, J.R. Yeah.
How important is that an event like this that you're trying to create a community to do something like that for the racers to mingle?
Well, that's what's cool is when you get everybody together and they're like, I always said that about the PRI party.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're not working on their cars and they get to actually sit down, relax, kick back some drinks, tell some old stories, and they've got a lot of old stories.
So the competition here.
It's like heavy hitter after heavy hitter after heavy hitter.
And it's invite only, right? So talk a little bit about the structure and how you guys came to who's.
Yeah. Well, we started with a list, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. But what we were trying to do was, make it invitational, make it to where in the future you'll have certain races that will be able to get you into this race. If you place high in this race, it'll get you in for the next time. And, we don't want to leave anybody out, but you can only bring so many in.
Do you think that amps up the hype to this? And those folks sitting on their couch that didn't get the invite, what are they thinking?
Absolutely. Well, they're pissed, and they want to be here. And we'd love to have them all, but you just can't, but I don't know. They go work on their shit and get better
get it for next year.
I think.
Now, is there a way that people, instead of being invited, that they can win into an invite?
Yeah, we haven't nailed down the particulars yet, but like if you win an Indy, you ought to be invited to this. If you win the championship in the PDRA, you ought to be invited to this. If you win the championship in the NHRA, you ought to be invited to this. And I think that we should handpick a few races and then give exemptions. However you place there, whether it be first, second, third. Don't know how many exemptions yet, but we'll write it out at some point, I guess.
I heard a rumor on the street was that you were in charge of that, and you're a golf guy, big golf guy in a hobby world. How did you come up with it? Was it the Masters
It
plan?
was the Masters, yeah. Because the Masters, you play, and the field is different every year because, whoever someone won Indy, well, they also may be the champion. So
right.
they're double entered, already, basically. So, yeah, so the field changes every year.
So I want to get these FloRacing people hyped about this event. We've got an awesome promo. I have a feeling you're not the guy who put this thing together. No. So we're going to roll this promo for you guys and get you a little goosebumpies in the West Buck world, as he calls it, about this here event, World Series of Pro Mod. Let's hit it.
With its picturesque views and landmarks, its rich history and legacy of performance, no drag strip in the world caters to the fast door slammer drag racing community quite like Bradenton Motorsports Park. And this weekend, in a historic event, the World Series of Pro Mod arrives along Florida's Gulf Coast for the first time ever. And it's headlined by the biggest names and most legendary drivers in the history of pro modified drag racing. Featuring icons such as Jason Scruggs, Todd Tutterow, and Frankie the Madman Taylor. Record setters like Jim Halsey, Mark Mickey, and Melanie Salemi. Hot new pro mod drivers like Lyle Barnett, J.R. Gray, and Manny Bajinka. One driver will make history by controlling the chaos that is the 4,000 horsepower, 200 plus miles per hour pro mod drag racing eliminator. By besting 32 of the toughest drivers and teams on the planet to take home a $100,000 prize in drag racing immortality. Plus, the outlaws of pro stock drag racing go head-to-head in hopes of tasting sweet victory and leaving Florida with $25,000. The top competitors in Sport Compact Drag Racing's strongest division face off. Drag Racing's true factory hot rods from America's major auto manufacturers look to make history at over 175 miles per hour. The pits are filled with drag racing's outlaws and certified badasses, live from Florida's Bradenton Motorsports Park, the biggest, richest pro mod race in the history of the known universe. It's the World Series of Pro Mod 2023, and it starts right now.
Jeez.
That was pretty good.
How many times have you watched that?
I've seen it. That's like the third time I've seen it, I guess.
Oh, really? So, I mean, it's still like, that is not a manufactured hype piece here. The vibe at this place is absolutely unreal. I know you don't go to many NHRA races, but you've been to a ton of other races in the industry. What's the difference in the vibe here?
I don't know, man. I rolled in Monday night. There was already like 45 teams here. I thought we would have just run of the place to be able to put up signage and do whatever, but they were ready to go. I mean, ready to go.
Now, let's talk about the week prior. So we've been planning this for months. You guys have had a few other events, tried it in Denver, location issues, did it in Orlando with the Door Slammer Nationals, was a huge success, in my opinion. COVID hits, kind of had to reevaluate. So the last 8 months or so, we've been putting this together. Give me a little insight of what went into choosing Victor Alvarez and Bradenton Motorsports Park.
If you've ever met Victor, he's a cool dude. You want to be around him, and he's passionate about this stuff. And of course, Wes is super passionate. And I think they just, it was just kind of made to be. And the crew here at the track has made this so easy. I mean, it's like everything's just taken care of.
When you talk about the crew, we haven't started yet. Obviously, again, we're going to remind you guys, we're on a massive wind delay here. We have been dealing with all of the elements to make this happen and bring Right Off Track to you guys. But as you're talking about the crew and everything, were you guys even prepared for anything like this? Like, what's going on over there as you guys are preparing for this? Win-win.
Like my carpenter always says, we're firefighters. We just literally run around and try to put out fires all the time. And sometimes you just got to say, screw it and do it.
Screw it and do it. I think we're going to trademark that of JT Hudson Murder T. But also on a sense of crew and track prep, picking the classes that come to an event like this, because you go to a series, there's certain classes that they run in the series, but this one, it's a little different because you got to pick which classes you wanted to broadcast in the biggest, richest drag race in the known universe, or whatever that slogan is that he says. Why did you pick the classes that you picked?
Well, Pro Mod, Wes has just always loved Pro Mod. But I really want to look at it more as an all-star race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the cars that they're going to be driving. Okay. This is their ball. This is their, however you want to put it. But you can come from, if you're a top fuel racer that, whatever, we want you to come over here and, throw your hat in the ring with these guys. So.
And we've got some big names here this weekend. We've got, right off track, the coattail. We've all joked about it. We all know America's sister, but like, take me out of it. Having Erica Enders, a 5-time Pro Stock World Champion, coming out here to compete in this event, A, and B, first time she ever pressed the starter button in that car was yesterday, guys. So there's a massive difference in what she's doing.
We all knew she would. She
comes in, I don't know if I can do it. Please.
I know. We actually have to have meetings at DI about, like, we really need to put Erica on the cover again, but she's on the cover so damn much. It's like, can we do it again? Really. But it's like that. Because, the season that she had, you could put her on the cover almost every damn month.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, I know you aren't.
That coattail makes her strong. So as we're talking about her, let's talk about the rivals night that she has. You have the PDRA world champion, Johnny Placino, and the 5-time NHRA champion, Erica Enders. Do you think, a lot of people are saying that Erica has the advantage. Oh, how can she pick on Johnny, this and that? First off, Johnny called her out. And second off, I don't think they realize that this is not the same car. So where do you think it stands?
Well, yeah, she's coming over to play in his sandbox, right?
Yeah.
So, they ought to have the advantage as far as I'm concerned, but I don't know.
I heard that they came over trying to bet some money. I don't know if Richard was down to bet pennies. I think he was down to bet dollars, but not pennies, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And as we talk about that, other rivals that you're looking forward to. I just did an interview with J.R. Gray and Lyle Burnett. I swear I thought they were going to put mud down and start wrestling.
Yeah, I like that one. And J.R. Gray was talking a lot of trash last night about it. So that's going to be a really good one. I did mess up the other night at dinner. I was eating with Lyle. And
oh, you're showing sides?
Huh?
Are you showing favorites?
Yeah. No, they were just there at the restaurant. So, but I was eating. We started talking about Mike Carpenter was going to room with me down here. I said, yeah, I might, get him really drunk, and I'll probably end up shaving his eyebrows before it's over with. And as you know, Lyle doesn't have eyebrows.
Well, Lyle was the first guest on Right Off Track last week.
And Lyle turns around and goes, well, what's wrong with that? And I'm like,
you're a freaking lunatic. And again, like JT, the reason I wanted JT to come on here, we like to claim ourselves as like the black sheep of this entire industry. Like, I've had many different jobs. I've always been the personality hire as well. And so, but I think that when you're picking these rivals, and when Wes was kind of encouraging people to call out, you almost need somebody who's in on the backside of that. Were there any that you had a hand in trying to make happen?
No, not really.
No? Well, you're no help.
Yeah, I know. As soon as they announced it, man, people were just burning up his phone, on trying to get a race in. So, yeah, these guys have a lot of pride. And I think that it's so cool that we have so many people from different sanctions of racing here that they want to throw their hat in with so-and-so driver and go out and...
Yeah, because they never get to line up next to each other.
They're waving their PDRA flag. They're waving their NHRA flag. It's like we have different camps here.
It's almost like we started like drag racing World War 47.
Yeah, I know. It's badass.
It is. So we've got, back to the classes, we've got Pro Mod. We know there's a ton of heavy hitters in there. We've got, 65 cars in Pro Mod?
61 or 2, I think.
61 or 2 cars in Pro Mod. That in itself is impressive, just getting all of these people here to do that. We've got Mountain Motor Pro Stock. What else do we have?
We got the Factory
Stock Showdown. Yep. How did that come about? That was kind of a late edition, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know much about that. I leave that the racing stuff to Wes.
Well, again, Double O Shit Show. You are no help.
No.
This may be controversial. I may get a little heat here, but was there a conversation, and I know there was, so don't BS me, about the radio cars and having a radio class, but having the different track prep and slowing it down? Give me a little insight there.
Yeah, it's hard to do with these cars, and then to... for a regular car to go down the track, it has to be super sticky, and the track prep that goes into it. To be honest with you, we want to put on a show here.
Yeah.
And we want the fans to see racing. And if you're doing that, I think you're going to see a lot of the tractor going up and down. Pro drag tractor, we call it, right? So we definitely booted on that idea.
I think that might have been a good call. And no offense again to the radio guys. I come to your races, we love it, but drag racing is very fragmented, and I've used this word a lot since I've been working at Flo, but I think it's something that the Floverse, as I call it, doesn't really understand, because the other brands of motorsports aren't as fragmented. If you're a fan of one, or if you race one, you can put your shit in another trailer and
Right.
and go run another series. But it's the fans are different, the track prep's different, the crew is different, everything is very different. And I think that you guys did a really good job of keeping it in your lane, but also giving racers a chance that wouldn't get to drive up next to each other.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we've got the 4-wheel drive cars. So was that a Victor pull, or how'd that come to?
I'd say that's a Victor pull.
Do you know much about those cars?
Yeah, not much.
I don't know a thing.
I don't either. But man, they look fun going down the track.
They do a little zing, 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 zing.
Yeah. And they're like the ass ends bouncing all around. It's pretty cool.
We had at Door Slammer, we had some import stuff, didn't we?
We did.
I think that's what slowed it up at Door Slammers.
Yeah. But it was cool too. I mean, everybody, like fans in the stands, had air horns. You know, I mean,
it's almost like a little mini World Cup when you bring that stuff in there.
It was, yeah.
You got like somebody with the Dominican Republic flag, like running down Jason Logan's area down there.
I love air horns.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Again, if you've never met JT, it's extremely annoying.
Got 2 here.
Extremely annoying. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull a rabbit out of my hat like Stevie and Lyle on the Shake and Bake show. And we're going to dissect some action here. If with this wind ever stops blowing and we actually get to some qualifiers and rival nights tonight, I want to talk today first. Do you think that guys in Scuttlebutt Through the Pit are going to be trying to hit the moon today because of rivals night? Or do you think people are in the mindset of getting ready for race day?
I think some of them are going to, I think you're going to have both. I think you're going to see both. Some people, maybe with this wind and stuff and all the dirt flying around, they might take it pretty easy. You know, I can see that. But, I mean, we're racing for $100,000. I mean, these guys, they brought 2 cars. They brought 2 engines. They've
75 crew chiefs.
Yeah, they've swapped over into a different trim if they're NHRA. You know, Mike Thielen told me that he spent probably $30,000 or $40,000 just to come race here for this race. I mean, now he'll be set up to go, hit some other events. But yeah, he was like, I am not missing it.
Do you? So I wanna go ahead and put it out there. Do you think, I'm going to call out a couple of the rivals races and I'm going to have you predict who you got to win? I thought I had a picture of him in my phone, but I don't.
I do.
Do you?
No, my phone's downstairs.
That's okay. Oh, I have it right here. So I'm going to give you a couple and we're going to get your advice on tonight and then we'll be able to see if you were right. One of my favorites, Jim Halsey and Jay Cox.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen there?
Probably Halsey.
Halsey?
But yeah, I like JT.
I figured that's what you were going to say. Another big one I want to get you, and we're putting this in writing here. Tricky Ricky and Scotty Palmer.
I gotta go with my boy Scotty.
Oh,
yeah. No, now do I? See, I pick different than most people.
We pick with our hearts here at the Black Sheep World.
I just love Scott Palmer, man. He's here for the fans, and he puts on a show for the fans wherever he goes and whatever he's doing. So,
if you guys don't know about Scott Palmer, you've got to check him out. He runs
People's Champ.
He is. Yeah. He runs NHRA Top Fuel, but he's everywhere. He'll do nitro circus nonsense. He goes to the Funny Car Chaos deal. Does a whole thing,
for the fans out because we have a ton of fans here, even with the wind and no racing. I can't believe how many fans are out here still.
I can't either. I'm gonna have to go different on you there. I love Scott Palmer. I think he is so good for drag racing. He's like the godfather of drag racing. But I think Tricky Ricky Smith's gonna show him the business.
Ricky's a freaking legend, man.
We're going. All right. One of my other favorites. This is like the promoters race. We've got Tommy Franklin and Keith Haney.
Oh boy, yeah.
We gotta go Franklin, right?
Yeah, I got Franklin on that one, yeah.
But Keith Haney's another one that brings something so great to this race because he comes bumping the gums.
He does. He's chirping and talking trash to everybody, and that stuff goes a long way because it gets the fans, especially now with social media. The fans see the back and forth between everybody. And I think it just goes a long way. Like, they feel like they're involved in it almost.
They do. We've been getting letters. I'm sure you guys haven't. I was going to talk about this later, but we've kind of led into it. You're picking these people to come. You're putting on the race. I called it earlier on a show. This is the National Give West Buck Crap Week. What kind of heat and how difficult is it to just keep the mission ahead and not let these people, these participants dictate what you guys are doing?
Yeah, you got to stand firm when you decide something, and you just, however it turns out, they may be right in the end, but you've got to stand by what you said.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and just get it done. All right, a couple more of these, and then we're going to get into the real deal, the young bucks of it. You got Jones and Tanner, Justin Jones and Preston Tanner. We've got Team PDRA, Team NHRA, and that's something that's so cool out here. Who are you rolling with?
I'm probably gonna go with Jones.
Oh, that's another one we gonna have to.
Shit.
I'm gonna go.
We're not gonna get to bet much money.
Oh no, I'm poor. I'm not doing that. I'm doing the win light bet style where it's free bet.
Yeah.
Free bet. So I'm going there, and then the very last. Actually, I lied. We have two more. One of the most talked about one, Chris Powers and Richard Freeman. And if you guys don't know, if you don't own Facebook or the internet, this one is real. There's a couple of these that they're buddies that they just put it in. This is real. This is like a battle of the pro stock daddies. There's been some shit talking on the internet.
Boy.
What do you think's going to happen?
Oh,
On the track first.
yeah. I'm gonna go with Richard here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Richard hasn't been in the car. Richard Freeman from Elite Motorsports. He's run NHRA Pro Stock. He's run Top Sportsman, everything. Huge sponsor of this event. But he claims himself to not be a driver.
Well, I'm just saying that just so I don't have to hear him give me shit.
Well, I don't work for him anymore, so he can kiss off in that sense. But I am going to go with Richard Freeman. And then the second prong to that bet, you think there's going squabbling?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think Kelly Murphy's going to be the one.
Yeah.
I love it. And then, of course, I saved my favorite for last. You going with Erica or you going with Johnny?
I'm going with Erica.
You're going with Erica.
After the year that E's had, and I mean, she's such a good driver. It's unreal.
Oh, you're just saying that because I'm sitting here. No, he's not. Trust me, he's not saying that because he's sitting here. I love it. So Rivals Night, honestly, I know that the big $100,000 to win is what everybody came here for. But do you think that some people are more concerned with going home with bragging rights, considering there's a guy that can go home with $100,000, but you only have to beat one guy for Rivals?
That's true. I mean, it's going to be big for these people if they win in their Rivals Night. But some people were kind of to take a call out.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. You know, like maybe they were just too worried about the qualifying, you know, and not wanting to throw everything at it. And I don't know.
I think, because you asked, I think that drag racing has kind of become more of a top button on your collar kind of sport through the years. Yeah, he's not usually a top button kind of guy, but unless you're at a grudge race or a duck race or something, I feel like we've lost the aspect of grudge racing and actually like talking crap and making it happen out on the racetrack. And something that you guys did that I think is incredible and will carry on into other races is bringing this back up. And I've heard a lot of people, because apparently people think I still work for Drag Illustrated, which FloDragRacing.
She kind of does.
I always will.
It's like, but it's cool that we have so many different companies that we all just work together and, you know, yes, in a boat.
I'm like customer service for Drag Illustrated, but through the weeks, like, oh, the grudge races are manufactured and they don't really hate each other and there's no money on the line. Do you think you really need money on the line or actual hatred to ramp this up?
No, but it makes it better.
It does make it better. But I think that this is something that we can work on as a community too, to where in order to do these fun things, it doesn't have to be hateful. It doesn't have to be Chris Powers, Richard Freeman-ish.
No, man. And you go to a grudge race, like a real grudge race, they are arguing back and forth. I mean, you think that they're probably going to fight at any time. Then they kind of slide around.
And then they go have a beer.
And they start hitting it back again. And then they race and then they have a beer. But yeah, it's going to grudge races. It's fun as hell. But they clean me out every time on the starting line. Because I don't know enough, I guess. But
sorry, so are you like the guys at the lights out and that you're just like putting in the air and pointing to the lane?
Yeah, and then they take it.
And then I
walk back to the ATM, make another withdrawal, you know, until my card shuts me off.
That's why you got to go with
Then I go
my
over to
bets.
Wes, and then I go to Wes, asking if I can get, you know, a little front on my paycheck.
But I do, on a serious note, I think that other promoters can use this as an example of bringing more to Saturday. Drag racing is, we qualify Friday, we qualify Saturday. We don't have hat laps, heats. We don't have little races unless you're at a bracket race where it's like a 5K or a 10K on Friday night. Something that I think that we've not put fans in the stands for as a community is you've got 2 days of qualifying, so they figure we can go to one or we only have to pay attention to one. But when you do something like this and absolutely just create your own world of drama, I think that if other promoters start doing stuff like this, that we can change the whole game of drag racing.
Yeah, it's like watching, you know, 10 elimination runs, you know, basically, you know, or 10 championship runs, you know, the finals, basically.
Yeah.
And you're doing it on a Friday night. You know, we talk about the show all the time. It's got to be a show. You know, it's got to be a show for these fans. We don't want them sitting up here in the stands, you know, for 5 days.
Just
from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., you know, and, you know, so we want these fans to be able to experience that whichever night they're here and have good racing to watch, and maybe not keep them out here until, weather permitting. Maybe not.
We may be on that train tonight.
Yeah, until 2 a.m. or something. Let them come out, let them drink beer, let them have fun. But when they leave, they can still maybe get something to eat on the way home.
And it gets them invested into it. I think NASCAR and everything, you're more invested in the driver than people are here. They like their Chevy guys, their Ford guys, their Elite guys, their KB guys, but there's not like a crazy high five or arguments in the stands. But I think that when you do this rival stuff, you're going to create that. And the NHRA has taken lead in that as well. If you guys haven't heard, NHRA introduced something called Too Fast, Too Tasty, sponsored by Mission Tortillas, little plug there, where the previous race before the
What's it called?
Too Fast, Too Tasty.
What the heck is that?
It's Mission Tortillas. I don't know. It's kind of, I wasn't really sure, but we're rolling with it. But they take these semi-finals losers, and then in Saturday night of qualifying, it may be Friday night, I can't remember. But they're taking those and they're making a mini grudge race out of it for the fans to see. And it's almost like a redemption style thing. So it's already spreading.
I've been pretty hard on the NHRA over the years, but they are trying, and they're showing up at different meetings. You're seeing them in the background, so I think they are listening. I think
in the entertainment value, and the more that people like Wes Buck, Victor Alvarez, Duck, everybody out there putting on these one-off races that it may come to more races. I think that the more that we bring an entertainment value to it, all it's going to do is spread, because
it's going to help everything.
It's going to elevate it. And it doesn't matter how fast the cars are going. I don't think that Top Fuel going 330 miles an hour is going to be the reason that fans like something more. I think that bringing an entertainment value, and you guys have always been just ahead of the game there with Wes's deal.
We've got the scoreboards off, for testing here. And, some of the drivers didn't really like that, at all.
I heard scuttlebutt. Everybody's talking like, what's low? What's low? Who's low? And It's like, you don't know. You can lie.
They don't know. Yeah, you could lie. You could play it like poker. Stevie Jackson did that in Denver. He went around and told everybody a bunch of crazy numbers, but you're lining up next to him and you're going, was he lying to me or not?
Well, you don't know with that guy.
You don't know, right?
And you don't know with that guy. And we could talk about him for a whole nother podcast of his transition of his career. But before we get into our final predictions of each class and wrap this up, I lied. We're going to go into final predictions and then we'll get into this here in a minute. So we're talking about Pro Mod. I want you to give me two guesses. Your number one and your number two.
Dude, I was asked this last night, and I don't think I can even pick.
You have to.
I don't even.
I make the rules on this show.
Who's your pick? Let me think about it here. Gosh.
So I got to stay consistent. On the Shake and Bake show, I picked Jim Halsey. Now, I picked Jim Halsey because I cheated and I called Jake Harrison, Elite Motorsports crew chief. And I said, what's the weather going to be like? What's the power adder advantage here? Because that's something else about Pro Mod that's cool here is you have so many different power adders, and the weather is going to make a huge difference there. And so we talked about it, and he kind of thought consistently it may be a nitrous race. And I said, well, when it comes to there, I'm Baby Shark. So I went Jim Halsey.
And that's a damn good pick. And,
they're all good picks.
I know, and that's why I can't pick.
Well, you have to. God. I'm putting you on the spot.
Man.
There's nothing to it.
I'm my buddy's been out here struggling, but I'm just gonna pick Lyle. He's my buddy, and he's been struggling a little bit, but I gave him a lucky penny the other night, and it got me clear down here with no flat tires on the trailer and everything. So I gave it to him. I told his daddy's got that going for him.
So you got Lyle Barnett.
Yeah, I do.
All right. What about Mountain Motor Pro Stock?
I'll take Johnny on that one.
You're going to so you're taking Eric on Rivals Night, but Johnny putting it together on race day.
Yep.
Why? Is it 4 in a row?
Yeah.
That's a pretty confident pick.
He's consistent, and this is his racing, right? Mm-hmm. So,
and he's a lever. That clutch foot of his is nasty.
And there's a lot of difference, jumping over here to this. Like, I didn't even realize it. We were at dinner with them the other night. They were talking about, I couldn't even see the tree.
The hood scoops.
And was it Frank?
Yeah.
Which is just hilarious.
The flying meatball, Frank Gugliotta, folks.
He is hilarious. And he was going off. He was so worked up at vein coming out in his forehead. But he's like, you got to tell us that, and we'll move you over a little bit, So there's a lot to it.
Eric has bitched and complained the last 4 or 5 years saying, I want hood scoops back. I want carburetors back. Yesterday, we're in there. She goes, I don't want hood scoops back. I can't see. I can't see.
That's why it's so important to go low in qualifying for them, because then they get lane choice.
I love it.
I know where I'm betting. on that.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I'm
Right lane.
I don't feel like
right lane.
I don't think I can pick in Mountain Motor. I think I'm too close to the game and I can't pick.
Oh shit, we know who you're picking.
I mean, I want Erica to win, but I'm with you. I think that
on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we'll hear if not, but I want to go with Erica because I believe in her more than anybody on the planet. But I do know the struggles that they're going through over there, just talking with her and hearing about yesterday. But I do know that they were low.
They're struggling so bad that the whole elite camp went golfing yesterday.
Right. And we were low of testing.
Didn't invite me.
That's fine. You're going to have to talk to Chase about that. But I think I'm going to disclaim my prediction here and say that I think that Johnny Placino does have a good chance because he's a leaver. He's not going to be the fastest car. He's not qualified number 1 at PDRA much, maybe 1 or 2 that I've ever seen it. He's usually 4 through 6, but on race day he can get it done. You got guys like Elijah Morton who you cannot forget.
You didn't pick your sister.
I did pick her, but I said it as a disclaimer. I think that Johnny has a good chance to win because he makes up for it with his clutch pedal. But you give Erica a couple more times at this, I think she'll be right there with him on the clutch pedal.
Absolutely.
So I don't know anybody really in the 4-wheel drive stuff, so I'm going to go with my guy.
I've been thinking going.
Hope she doesn't ask me about that.
I think Victor's running. I'll go with Victor.
Okay, Victor's running, and I got Bradley Dillon.
He's running.
Silva.
Yeah.
So the moral of this story is that we have no idea who's going to win that. Yeah. I'm going to go with my 2. I'm going to go with Victor because we love you, Victor Alvarez. But Bradley Dillon is a guy that I met last year at World Cup finals. Just one of the coolest, nicest guys. Totally the most passionate guy I've ever seen about these import cars or these 4-wheel drive cars that I've ever seen. And I believe in him like my King Cartuccio dark horse bet for US Street. I'm going to go with Bradley. And then
it is amazing how passionate these guys are. You know, like,
oh, yeah.
They have emailed and texted and messaged and, you know, for us to include more imports for years.
I think I'm going to throw the fragment word around to eliminate the fragmentation. Is that a word? Of drag racing. I think that, yeah, it's my show.
Yeah.
That bringing these guys and gals in here, because I think there's a woman racer in that class too. Maybe I should go with her. But bringing them in here and introducing them to the pro mod fans of the world is crucial. So we got our picks locked in. We'll see how well we do. Sorry, Stevie and Lyle, we stole your segment, but that's just the way it goes. As we close out here, talk about the future of the World Series of Pro Mod.
It's going to get bigger. I mean, we've I can't even tell you. I can't tell you on here yet, but Wes has got some really big ideas. Imagine that. So
yeah, shocking.
Yeah. So I would think here maybe in the next few weeks we'll hear some pretty big news.
So are we looking at, and you can tell me you can't say, but and I don't know this, guys. I'm on the outside here. Are we thinking this is still going to be a one event a year type thing, or are we going to start to make a little series out of this?
I don't know.
Man, as a fan of this, I would love for it. And this to me will always be the mothership of it because we are right here down the road from Gainesville. Everybody's already coming down here from testing. I think we're even going to have some famous spectators who've been testing in Gainesville a week who are going to come down. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Clay Milliken and Tron Brown. They've been wishing that they could come to this race. And so,
you know, that's what I'd love to see in the future is those guys in here in a car, Clay. There's not a better guy.
Dude, drag racing is needs Clay.
Oh my God. He's awesome.
He was at Lights Out, just came for the day.
Yep. I think he's been to most of our races too, you know, that we put on over the years. And he just always got that big old smile, you know, and I met him my first year that I worked for Drag Illustrated. I met him, and I guess I didn't see him for maybe 2 or 3 years later. And you know, like when we first met, we just talked for a little bit, and he knew my name. And you know, the next time I saw him, I'm like, I was just floored by it.
Like this, gosh dang Clay Milliken.
Hey man,
stomp on that loud pedal, baby.
Yeah.
Now that is what we need more of, guys, and this is why World Series of Pro Mod is so important, and why we wanted to bring you this Right Off Track episode from Bradenton Motorsports Park, which has turned into the Sahara Desert. It's like Las Vegas out here. But if you guys are not into this race, don't know anything about drag racing, this is somewhere where you absolutely have to start and figure out what drag racing is because, in my opinion, we're about to show the world what we got, right?
We are.
What's the slogan Wes uses? The biggest, richest what?
Biggest, richest, baddest
race in
the history of
the known universe or something like that. I don't know. Awesome. Well, we've got it all here, guys. We have
read it off one of the signs.
You probably, yeah the biggest, richest pro mod race in the history of the known universe. I remembered that. That's like an ad read, baby. We got it. So JT, I want to thank you so much for coming on here. I told you on your show, like I've been a guest on 1,000 podcasts.
Right.
Running a podcast is a whole thing, and you just got to do it with your homies.
She was nervous. She's on here beforehand vaping, and I didn't even know she vaped. And she's blowing this cloud of smoke at me. I thought I was.
He's lying.
Yeah. I thought I just ran into her at an old pool hall or something. Standing over there in her leather pants and her.
I'll sandbag at the pool tables. Listen, if you guys are here, please come find JT and I. I can guarantee you we'll be by the cooler, which I just heard Nate come in here and ask you where it was. So those of you who say JT does nothing, he's in charge of the booze tonight. The World Series of Pro Mod, one of the coolest things ever. We have a ton of flow action this weekend. So if you are not subscribed, subscribe today and do not miss World Series of Pro Mod. Thank you so much. It's been episode 2 of Right Off Track, and we'll see you in 2 Fridays.
Ooh, deuce. Peace.
Okay. Yep.
I know. Well, yeah, that actually wasn't wind. It was Courtney Baby.
Gosh, damn, we look good up here, JT.
I like it that it's small, so you don't have to see yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Vape, vape.
You think?